Everybody is familiar with the word nostalgia, or at least the term nostalgia. It refers to something you remember in your past which you can fondly remember or really actually dislike when you remember it. And it usually comes from your childhood or sometime in your past. Unless you're really old, and it came from your adulthood, which is like your mid-30s, then something. It's in your past and you remember either fondly or not fondly at all. So yeah. Today we're going to be talking about nostalgia in the reference of video games and how it affects you. Is nostalgia good or bad? I don't know. Let's look at the details. Alright, so is nostalgia good or bad for video game sales? Now we all think of our childhood video game, you know, mine would be Ocarina of Time, playing it just to figure out the tricks and how anything would be possible. Playing it to figure out why it was rated E when it should have been rated E10. Actually, I don't think they had E10 rating then, but who knows? It's a nostalgia game, and everybody has a childhood nostalgia video game. Unless you had no life, then you I don't know. But is it good for a video game to be nostalgic in just? Is it good for that? Let's take and consider the series Pokemon. Most people that I know who play Pokemon a lot really love Pokemon X and Y, really love Soul Silver and Heart Gold, really loved Emerald, and really love those later games. But people that I know who don't really play Pokemon a lot, but know about it, and did play Pokemon as a child, like the older games better than the newer games, even though they still did play the newer games. Now, when I'm thinking of newer games, I'm saying like Kanto, Sinnoh, Johto, and Hoenn. Those are the three starters, and those are the three starting generations that most people played as kids. And after that, really, it just went into a bunch of it just didn't. The people I know didn't really go on after that. But out of those three generations, they remember Kanto the best. Well, what could that mean? Well, it's because of nostalgia. People remember Pikachu, Meowth, and Gyarados most of all. They just remember how badass Gyarados was. They remember Kanto because it was the original, though, but it was nostalgia. Now, why are we talking about this along with video games? Well, I just want to talk about how, I was thinking about this morning, how could nostalgia affect video game sales? People might remember, let's say the Zelda series. People will remember Ocarina of Time probably the most. Older fans may remember the original Zelda the most too, but I'm just going to say Ocarina of Time because I played that the most as a child. Now, take in effect Skyward Sword. People say it wasn't that good of a game, though it was actually a pretty good game, pretty decent Zelda game. They must be comparing that to their nostalgia factor or childhood factor of Ocarina of Time because they're comparing it with their childhood love or nostalgic feeling. Thus, they didn't say the game was that good because they were comparing it with such a better game. Why do we call Ocarina of Time so much better? Maybe it was better. Maybe it's just nostalgia taking an effect of our childhood pleasantries. Is it good or bad? Who knows? I don't know. It could be good because you remember such a great time, such a fun time in your life. No matter if it's childhood or just a couple years ago, it's still nostalgia. But it can be bad because once you get out of that dream of having a nostalgic experience, once you get out of it, you remember, oh, I don't have that anymore, and you just say, oh, that's terrible. So that's the bad factor of it. What's my opinion on nostalgia in video games? It can be good, it can be bad. Its effect on sales, it can be good, it can be bad. People remembering a good video game in the past might buy a regenerated version, thus they made Ocarina of Time 3D, so this generation could get what last generation got. Such a great game. Now, why do we say it's game? Why do we say it's such a great game? Take in Zelda, like I said before. Ocarina of Time was such a great game. Why? Many people say it was the graphics, it was innovation at work for the N64. Many other people will say it just has the nostalgic factor of their childhood that makes it so great. That is why Nintendo brought it over to the 3DS for next generation gamers to play the same game that last generation gamers got. Who knows? Is it good for copyright and sales and infringement? Probably not, because you're probably doing the same thing over and over and again, and it really gets annoying. But it could be good for sales by people remembering how good that game was, and they rebuy it, which the process and the producers of the game make more money. So it can be good and can be bad on many staples of life. What is nostalgic in essence? It is what you remember, which is good. Many people don't remember what is bad about their childhood, thus they don't assume, they don't compare it with something nostalgic. When people think of nostalgia, they think of something good from the past. It can also be something bad from the past, like you twisted your ankle and you had to sit out your soccer season in preschool and you just sucked. Now that can be bad nostalgia, but it's still nostalgia. So that's my opinion on it. It can be good, it can be bad. What do you guys think about nostalgia in video games? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it both, like I think? Leave it down in the comments below and I will look at them. So great. So thank you guys for watching. If you could, also leave a like down below.